It's not valid. Senior Deputy Executive Secretary Menardo Guevara says fired presidential appointees cannot say their foreign trips were approved by President Rodrigo Duterte. Guevara says Duterte himself does not sign travel authorities. He also says the process is largely ministerial. Guevara says, quote, "This process is essentially ministerial. There's a foreign event, there's an invitation to participate, there's funding allotted, so we sign." He adds the responsibility to discern whether the official trip is unnecessary or excessive lies with the cabinet official. Maritime Industry Authority or Marina Chief Marcial Amaro III was the latest official to be fired by Duterte for supposed excessive trips abroad. While it's the Office of the Executive Secretary that signs travel authorities of cabinet secretaries, it is heads of agencies or departments who sign for lower-ranking officials, as in the case of Amaro. Marina is under the Transportation Department. Travel authorities, meanwhile, for the official trips of former Presidential Commission for the Urban Poor Chairman Terry Ridon, who was fired last December, would have gone through the Office of the Executive Secretary. Ridon previously defended his foreign trips, saying they were all green-lighted by Malacanang. Former Dangerous Drugs Board Chief Dionisio Santiago, who had also been accused of going on foreign junkets, cited the same reason. Secretary Francisco Duque III on Friday says the Health Department will not file cases against officials who should be held accountable for the now suspended dengue vaccination program. French pharmaceutical company Sanofi Pasteur in November announced its Dengvaxia vaccine could lead to more severe cases of dengue when given to a person who had not been infected before. Duque says the DOH would be focused on monitoring the health of 837,000 grade schoolers who received the dengue vaccine.
We don't want to be filing the cases ourselves because we have our plates are full. We need to watch out for the 837,000 students who have been vaccinated. And to us, that is paramount, the health of those children, and to ensure that the risk is mitigated, if not eliminated.
Duque also says the DOH already submitted for review to the University of the Philippines Philippine General Hospital the cases of 14 children who died after receiving Dengvaxia. He says the 14 deaths out of the hundreds of thousands of vaccinated children should not yet be a cause of alarm. The 14 deaths were among those vaccinated in the DOH's school-based dengue immunization program. Ride-hailing company Grab on Friday asks the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board for a 5% fare increase, citing the impact of the new tax reform law on its operations. Grab is seeking to raise its 10 pesos to 14 pesos per kilometer charge to 11 pesos to 15 pesos per kilometer and increase its 2 pesos per minute charge to 210 pesos per minute. This comes on the heels of the Tax Reform for Acceleration and Inclusion, or TRAIN law, which took effect on January 1. The law brings down income tax rates but increases excise taxes on petroleum, cars, and vehicle spare parts. Grab says the tax reform law would mean higher expenses for Grab drivers. United States President Donald Trump lashes out at a bombshell-filled book about his presidency, dismissing it as full of lies after threats of legal action failed to block its release. Publishers respond to Trump's cease and desist letter by releasing Fire and Fury inside the Trump White House on Friday, 4 days earlier than initially announced. The book by author and political muckraker Michael Wolff quotes key Trump aides expressing serious doubt about Trump's fitness for office. Trump tweets, quote, "I authorized zero access to White House. Actually turned him down many times for author of phony book. I never spoke to him for book. Full of lies, misrepresentations, and sources that don't exist." The book, which paints Trump as mentally unstable and far out of his depth, includes extensive quotes from former White House chief strategist Steve Bannon. Bannon also received a cease and desist order from Trump's lawyers. In the book, excerpts of which were published this week, Bannon is quoted accusing Trump's eldest son, Don Jr., of treasonous contacts with a Kremlin-connected lawyer. Bannon is also quoted as saying Trump's daughter Ivanka, who imagines running for president one day, is dumb as a brick. A United States-based research shows how unbridled connection to Facebook creates a space for coercion. A Dalhousie University study on Myanmar and Cuba says Facebook creates a virtual coercive that leads to abusive coercion and divisive politics. Facebook in the past year has been criticized for allowing governments to spread misinformation and hate speech. The study says unbridled access to low-cost internet on mobile devices led to the normalization of hate speech and shaping of public perception in the Rohingya crisis in Myanmar. It adds the misinformation spread through Facebook justifies what the United Nations has dubbed a textbook example of ethnic cleansing by the Burmese military. The Dalhousie study also cites Cuba's case, which is the opposite. Since internet in Cuba is expensive, Facebook is not as popular compared to SMS and other chat apps. This means Cuba's model is to create a barrier to information. The study asks, quote, "Is unbridled access to Facebook really a pillar of free speech if the platform can be harnessed for the purpose of eliminating an entire population?" Still in the social media giant, Facebook chief Mark Zuckerberg says his mission for 2018 is to fix the social network. His list of targets at Facebook includes abuse and hate, interference by nation-states, and making sure visiting Facebook was time well spent. Zuckerberg says, quote, "The world feels anxious and divided, and Facebook has a lot of work to do." He adds, quote, "We won't prevent all mistakes or abuse, but we currently make too many errors enforcing our policies and preventing misuse of our tools."